Hi. Last week we had a look at my main eurorack case. Today we're going to have a look at the small sampler case. It's good to know that I bought these modules because I wanted them to be part of my normal live setup and not because I wanted to build a standalone system, but it does kind of function this way. First, we're going to have a look at the individual modules, and then I'll talk a little bit about why it's a fun standalone system. The main module here is the 4MS stereo triggered sampler. I always use this as two completely independent mono sample players. This is not a very obscure or creative sound mangling tool, but a rather straightforward device, and I like that. You can load up to 600 samples in color-coded banks with 10 samples each, and it's very easy to pull up the exact sample you need. You can still use this in many creative ways though, because you have CV control over all its parameters. I use this to loop long background field recordings, sequence it to create melodic parts or chords, and I like to turn it into a drum computer by sequencing single drum samples. A great companion to the sample player is the Mutable Instruments Clouds. This is a complex module, but basically you can pass audio through this and then use it to interact with the audio passing through. It can add subtle textures to existing sounds and perform simple reverb or delay duties, but if you spend more time with it, you can also push it into creative sound mangling territories and even have it become a sound source on its own. Here in the middle is the Make Noise LXD. This is a very compact dual low-pass gate. The top one has a bit of fixed resonance and they are great to tame some of the sounds or function as a VCA for audio or CV. To have some modulation power, on the right is the Mutable Instruments Peaks. This is a digital module with a bunch of different modes, and I tend to use it in dual mode, where the four knobs have direct control over two LFOs or two attack decay envelopes. I particularly like the slow, smooth random voltage that is part of its LFO shapes. Finally, on the left is the Happy Nerding Mia. This is a very powerful module that can mix, attenuate, invert, and create offset voltages. I use this module all the time, but it also makes this entire case work as a standalone unit. It functions as a signal hub to mix audio and CV, attenuate signals, and provide hands-on control over the low-pass gate by feeding it offset. I'm not sponsored or anything, but if you're interested in building a compact system, have a look at this module. If you understand it, you will use it. The one thing that is important to notice though is that the pots are bipolar and there's no center dent in the middle. So especially for audio, it can be hard to turn the signal completely off. But it has a lot of mixing and attenuation power in a really small size. And that's all the modules. Like I said, I bought all these modules because I wanted them individually for my live setups, but this is a fun case on its own. I traveled a few times with this and it's great to come up with ideas. The reason it works is because the modules are so flexible. The dual sample player can be used to create ambient textures as well as drums, chords and melodic sounds, and you always have two. So you can combine drums with a bass line or piano samples with some ambient textures and so on. The clouds give you anything from simple reverb and delay to heavy sound mangling. The peaks is a flexible modulation source which can provide LFOs, envelopes and can even be a simple sequencer. The low-pass gate works as a filter or VCA, and the Mia gives you enough routing possibilities to create the signal flow you like. Finally, the 4MS is also a stereo sampler. And because the Clouds is a stereo processor, with the right routing you can even perform and multitrack two mono signals within this system. So it's not only fun to mess around with, it even works as a recorder while you're on the road. If you like a few examples of jams I did with just this case, have a look in the description, I'll link to a few videos. And if you like this video or have questions, please let me know in the comments. If you're interested in supporting my music or these videos, please have a look in the description as well for a few different ways you can do that. Most importantly though, thanks for watching and I hope to see you soon.